Hello everyone, this is Unreal Noob and welcome to the Unreal Engine 4 beginners tutorial. We are making an Infinite Runner series at the moment, and in the last lesson we made sure that the swipe controls work, so you can swipe left to right and right to left and up and down, and it will respond as you swipe it. So in this video we'll be making the point scoring system and the high score system. I had thought that this lesson would be about turning corners, but my turning corner system is a bit glitched out at this moment. So if there's a corner coming around and if I'm on one of these lanes, you can see like my character just moves to the left a bit by a fraction, and there you go, it glitches out from there. So I'm still working on this one, and I will upload this video once I have fixed the bugs. So till then we'll be covering the future lessons, the score system that we are doing and other systems that will come in the Infinite Runner courses. So let us begin. For the scoring system, we need to make a structure. So a structure is a user defined data type, and by data type what we mean is if I open up the blueprint, you have this based on red. These are by default, so we made this player spawn location, the touch start, the touch end, and the touch sensitivity. The touch sensitivity is of the data type float. Okay, so this float is a data type, this vector is a data type, this vector 2D is a data type as well. So what this structure does is it stores or it nests various data type within itself. Let's see how that is done. I'll just call it struct player, and when I open this one up, once you open this, you can see one variable is already created of the type boolean, and you can change it to float or integer. We'll be using integer for our current point, but let's say we make another variable and we make this one as distance, and this time around it can be a float and it will store it. So as you can see, in a structure you can just store variables of different data type. So and this also has a few options such as the tooltip. Editable means can it be edited outside the structure, and if we have it clicked, then it can be edited anywhere outside of the structure. And save game, and can it be like available for saving the game. And distance we don't really need to, or the current point we don't need to. So we will create another variable. Let's just call this one, make this integer, call it high score, and this one could be of, like, we can click on the save game for this one high score, because this high score will be saved. And let's call this one the distance. You can have it as a float or an integer, it's up to you. I will actually keep it as a float, and then we can change, and then and then we can add conspo high score distance, let's say score multiplier, and this one will be of the type integer as well. So let's save this one and close this one out, and we'll also require a player controller. blueprint class and player controller. We'll call it bp underscore player controller. Open this one up. In the event graph, we will make a variable over here, call it player stats, let's say, and change this one as sorry, not vector, struct player that we made. This is this one, struct player. We just put in that as the variable type, as the data type of the variable type. Yeah, what we want to do is in the player controller, drag and drop this player stats and break struct player, and let's put in a sequence over here, and from the first one let's do a delay of 1 seconds, and yeah, let us open the player structure once more, and the score multiplier should be 1 by default. Let's save that one again, and after 1 second delay of every event tick, we want to get the player stats set member current point, as we will multiply it and into it, the current point into the score multiplier. We'll hide this unconnected pin and plug it in over here, and since we cannot see the point in the screen right now because we do not have made the widget, so we'll just do a print string so that we can see what our point is as we pass through. So let's see. Oh yeah, right. Also I forgot, like you need to open up your bp game mode, and over here in the player controller class you need to set the bp player controller that we just made, and now play the game and you should see. Oh yeah, right. um, Go to the player struct point and make sure your current point is also set as 1 by default, and let's play that, and 1, right. Also we want to go to the player controller, we want to increment this one, and let's play now. 3 4, yeah. So we can go back to the struct and make it to 0 again, and there you go, 1 2 3 4, and it's increasing, so our points is increasing as we keep on moving forward. So what did we do? What is the maths behind it? It's basically simple. You take the current point and you multiply it with the score multiplier, and the score multiplier is 1 by default and the current point is 0. So the first time round 0 into 1 is 0, then it gets increment. Actually, like 0 into 1 does not get called because the first time round it gets incremented. It gets incremented at the very moment, so it's incremented and this one is changed to 1 at the very beginning. So it starts with 1 and this is 1, so 1 into 1 is 1, and then it is incremented again, so the current point becomes 2. 2 into 1 is again 2, it gets printed, and so on. So as we move on, our score increases just like that. And if you are playing the game from the viewport, you can see these joysticks coming up. These are annoying because we do not need them for our game. So what you can do is open up the project settings and go to all settings and type in mobile, and over here you will see default touch input interface, and with this what you can do is just clear it out and go back over here and play the game, and they are no longer here. Okay, what should we do? Yeah, let's go for the widgets. Yeah, make sure you have a widget folder. I have already created it. You can right click, go for a new folder and rename it to widget. Open this one up. I will right click again, user interface widget blueprint, and I will call it UI underscore player HUD. I'll open this one up, and the first thing I would like to do is put in a horizontal box over here. Then I want to put in a text inside of the horizontal box. Make sure it's inside. You can just check it by this. If it's not like under this one, you won't see that drop down thing. So once it's a child of it, you can see this drop down that you can just on and off. So make sure it's a child. So I'll just put 3 childs to the horizontal box. Yeah. And make sure your horizontal box is anchored to the top right. The first one would be, let's just move the horizontal box over here. The first text would be score. The next would be a semicolon, and the third one, for now let's just put in a 0 0. Okay. Yeah, I can just move it back over here, and in the color and opacity I can choose a color of, choose whatever color you are fond of. That would be all. And change the font to maybe 30. 35. 35 should be good enough. We do not have any other fonts. And for this one, let's go size to no auto. Make sure it's spread out. And for the padding, let's make the right padding to be 10. This one, make the left padding as 10 and the right as well 10. And change the, just get this one, file save, and make this one as 35 as well. Yeah, the color, for some reason there's a bug with this one, so just choose the color again, and then even with the 0 you want to do the same, change the color again and make it 30. Also with this 0 0, make sure it's a variable, and you want to bind this one under content, the text you want to bind it, create a new binding, and this one will create a new function. And over here what you want to do is, yeah, before that we want to go to BPI, create a new blueprint interface. I'll call it BPI underscore player. I'll just call it PC. Yeah, BPI PC, and I'll call it PC reference, and the output will be BP PC, no, BP player controller object reference, and we'll call it PC ref again. And we'll do the same thing as always. Go to the BP player controller class settings and add the BPI PC, and over here in the interfaces just plug in self. You get a reference to the self, and that's all there is. And over here what we want to do is call the PC reference. From here we can just type in get player controller, and we get our player stat. Sorry, player stat, not player state. Get player stat. We break this one up and current point to over there, and now if we play, sorry, yeah, and also before that we want to go to the player controller, and in the event graph from the begin play, let's do a delay of 0.2 seconds and then a sequence, and from the sequence we want to create widget. We'll call this one the UI player HUD we created, and promote this one to a variable, call it player HUD reference, and we'll just add to viewport. And now we have that score 1 2 3 4. They are not properly aligned, so we'll just go back to the HUD again. You can just scroll your mouse to zoom in on this one. Size to content, let's add up. Actually they are aligned. This, yeah, from the bottom let's move it 5. No, nothing. Okay, never mind this. With this one, yeah, this one should be 35. Let's see how it looks now. Play it again. The colors a bit. Yeah, you can see your score is increasing. So the first thing we can do is remove that print screen from the player controller. So we have this score increasing over there, but what we would like to do is always showcase like 2 digits for the score, like this 00, so it should be 01, then 02, and so on and so forth. So we can, what we can do is go to the graph, and over here within this get text function we'll rename this one to get score, and over here the to text one, click on the drop down, and over here minimum integral digits is set to 1, make it to 2. So compile again and play, and then you can see it's always 0 1 0 2, and the score will just go on like that. So the score is done. So let us move to the next part, like our distance covering. So for that we want to open up our BP flow. So yeah, before this one we want to cast it to the player ref. Yeah, it was PC ref. So we get the player controller and get the player stat again, and we break this one again, and from this we'll get the distance and increment it. Let's increment 0.5 instead of that. So we'll do a float plus float, and then set members, and plug this one over here and this one over here, and we'll just click on this one, set members, and choose our distance so that we can plug it in, and we will just increase it by 0.5 for every tile we cross. So let's see. Oh yeah, before we can again visualize this, let's just directly go to our player HUD, and we want it to be below our score. So how do we do that? So let's just right click on the horizontal box, wrap with, we want to wrap it with the vertical box. We put in another of the horizontal box under the vertical box, and put in 3 texts again inside this one as well. Let's call this horizontal box as our score box, and this one will be our distance box. Okay, so once that is done, the first one will be just same as the above one. We'll call it distance. We'll change the color. We'll change the font to 35 as well. For this one it would be a semicolon, and the last, sorry about that, only one. And for the last one it would be, let's do it 200. We'll bind it anyhow, it does not matter for you to do that, but we still want to do it. For this one we had a padding of right 10, so I'll just have a padding. Actually we do not need a padding of this one, and I will just increase the padding of this one to match the distance. Let's say 35, 40, 50, 60. 60 should be, yeah. And this one will make it to 35 as well, and this one as well 35. Let's add padding of 10 as well over here, and let's add a padding to the left of 10 as well. So what we can do with this one is change this one to 70. Yeah, there we go. And yeah, this one is a bit of a pain in the ass, but we have to do it. There we go. And bind this one as well. Sorry, I just clicked on the wrong binding. Delete that one. Go back, click on this one in the text one, under context text, click on the binding, create binding, and we'll rename this one to as get distance, and we'll do the same thing as the score one. So I'll just copy it over here, Control C, and I'll just paste it over here, Control V. So let's just plug it in over here, this one over here, return value over there, and instead of the current point we just plug in the distance directly. Change this one to 2, and maximum fractional digits to 2. So let's see how that looks, and what you can do is hide the unconnected pin as well, and let's see the text block. Yeah, let's just not make it a variable. Let's see what's wrong with this one. Oh right, the binding of this one, or this one, yeah, remove binding. Sorry, yeah, that was the issue. And let's play to see what it is. Yeah, now as you can see, it's perfect. We have crossed 3 tiles, distance is 3, then 4. Wait a minute, this one, uh, yeah, I don't think, actually I don't remember if you can do that. After 0 to on the value which is closer to 0 comes 0. Not this one, half to 0, but if it becomes 0, we don't want any of these. Yeah, I don't think you can do it, so yeah, it will always be an integer. So what we could have done is make the float to be an integer in the first place. Okay, so we have made the score system and the distance covering in this one, and we also have made a HUD that is visible on the player screen. In the next one, we will be spawning the coins and the obstacles in within the level, and we'll teach you a bit about animations as well, how you can spawn just not obstacles, maybe enemies as well, and if you bump to them they just attack you or something. So we will play around with the animation as well in the next video or the next lesson. So thank you guys for watching this video, and if you like this video and if you learned something from it, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much guys again. See you in the next one.